Hello chess friends and welcome to Yazarov's chess channel and welcome to my Chess Unites the World series. So what's about this series? In this series you can publish your own games and you can ask me some questions if you have maybe troubles with your middle game, and I'll try to make a video of this specific topic that bothering you. And of course you can send me your own games in which you have very well played, or if you had some troubles against some openings, and I'll try really to answer your questions. So a couple of days ago, my chess friends from Boston, USA, Robert Georgines, contacted me through an email, and he sent me a very nice game by him. He played it against his club colleague in his club championship in the semifinals, which he unfortunately lost. But it's I think this game is really important to see because it's a very nice game played by Robert, and he lost it just because of a really huge blunder. And in the meantime, he played the game very actively, and you see he played against this club colleague who is 400 rating points stronger than him, and he crushed him really effectively in this very nice berry attack. And I created already 3 videos about this berry attack, and I'm gonna make some more videos, and I'm gonna remake the same videos that I've already created because they are really in low quality, and I think it's an important opening line that you should see, and I'll try to create it in a better quality. So as I said, use this really use this channel. I try to publish as much as I can in my Chess Unite the World series. Just send me your games, send me your very problematic opening lines that are bothering you, and we'll try to do something. And I really love this series because we get to see these regular fellas that are simply playing chess, and that's what I like about this series, because you see we can see now Robert playing. We also saw our friend from Zwavemaster from South Africa, and I think it will be a really multinational, very nice multinational reproduction list after maybe a couple of maybe I will create in the future 50 or 100 videos in this series. So really use this channel. If you have really some questions, I'll try to do as much as I can. And let's see now the Robert's berry attack. Very strong attack, and the good thing is that Robert played this opening line very correctly till move 10, I think. And the good thing about this berry attack, you can memorize it very easily. So we have here d4 by Robert, knight on f6, knight on f3, which is the most flexible variation against f6. So we are waiting. After g6 it can transpose maybe to a King's Indian or East Indian, or here after c5 maybe into Benoni, e6 in Nimzo Indian and stuff like that. This knight on f3 leaves you very nice flexibility in your game. Here g6 played by Robert's opponent, and here knight on c3, of course with preparations to play, pardon me, here e4. That's why Robert's opponent here played d5, bishop on f4, and now c6. Now e3, very good opening. Of course we want to bring the bishop, and then after that bring the knight on e5, and then after that to play the move h4. This is the common setup in the berry attack. You should really memorize this couple of moves. And here's one recommendation for Robert. Of course, if you're watching, if your opponent plays the move c5 here, which is the most aggressive line in the berry attack, well, you should castle kingside here. So you should go bishop on e2 and then castle kingside, because this c5 really challenging here, this d4, and your flank attack shouldn't be present here after c5. After c6 it's perfectly fine, as you have played it, of course, but after c5 don't go in this early flank attack. I think you will get crushed very easily, because there are these common lines in which well, black after c5 and queen on b6 really challenging here, and there are these complex lines with the rook sacrifices, queen sacrifices, knight sacrifices, defense and stuff like that. So I think after c6 you can play on this flank attack very easily, like you have played it in this game. So here we have bishop on g7, bishop on e2, castling, and now knight on e5 with the preparation to play h4, h5, after trade of maybe h takes g6 to trade off the bishops on h6, then somehow bring the queen to the dark squares on h6, and then creating checkmate threats on the h file. So that's the basic idea in the barrier attack. Of course, all of the games don't end in this checkmate threats, but you see, if black doesn't react correctly, well, you get very crushed very easily. So here we have knight from b to d7, and of course you don't want to trade off here the knights. You wait your opponent to trade the knights on e5, because you get bishop on e5, and now we have the same idea to trade off the bishops here again, but through the other diagonal. Still we can play on this h4 h5 idea, so it's perfectly fine. So now Robert played h4, and now h5. Robert's opponent doesn't want to, he's not allowing here this h5 move, so here f3, which is a very important move, and it leaves the possibility here after queen on d2 to bring the knight. And Robert, this is an important maneuver if you're watching. If you play the queen on d2, then you have the possibilities after that to play the knight on d1, and then after that knight on f3, which is supporting the g4, and this is also in support of the attack. Meanwhile, you see, you have played with your queen and still have this possibility to castle or queenside or kingside. So this barrier attack is very nice because it's very flexible. You can play on queenside and kingside, and it's a very sharp line. And you see Robert's opponent, although 400 rating points better, he didn't react correctly to this opening. So here we have c5, which is a good move, I think, by black, because he reacts against the flank attack. You should attack the center, which is perfectly fine. And here Robert played g4. So this g4, I think it's a little bit too rushy. It's a little bit too fast. I think queen on d2 with the same idea, because queen on d2 with this idea knight on d1 and then knight on f3 would be good, because well, it can lead to such lines after you see after g4. Well, you can get here after pardon me, after c takes d4 and then a takes d4. Well, then you can get here a takes g4, f takes g4, and then queen on b6. This would be an annoying line to play against, because you see now the b2 pawn is hanging, and with this queen to d2 preparation we could have castling now. A complicated line would be maybe queen on d2 now. Of course, if queen takes on b2, then you can play rook on b1 with the tempo on the queen and still continue to attack. But here is an annoying move that black can play. Knight takes on e5. Of course, you take with the bishop, but now he can play knight on e4 with an attack on your queen. You have to take the knight, and your opponent will simply take the bishop. Here, after d takes e5, d takes e4, you see the queen is still threatening here the pawn on b2, and well, you are basically forced to castle here, and of course now black can maybe develop his bishop, and you see the queen is very well placed on the 6th rank and can support the defense here. So okay, if you play queen on h6, immediately you'll get queen on b2. Of course, you're trying here to open somehow this h file, but now of course you have to react here with an attack on the rook. So you basically lose the tempo by playing this queenside castle. Well, okay, it's a complicated line. As I said, here I think this attack with g4 was a little bit too fast. And here Robert's opponent played c takes d4, e takes d4, and now queen on a5. Now we get this queen on d2 move. He didn't play queen on b6. We get queen on a5. And here knight on e5, bishop takes on e5. Again, you see with this possibility to trade off the bishops. Of course, we have two possibilities to trade here in the position. As the bishop were on f4, we could have traded here on h6, and now we can trade it on this other diagonal here on g7. So with this taking out of the knight on e5, well, Robert's opponent didn't gain anything special here. He just improved the position of the bishop, so that's why that's good, because white has a really nice coordination on this e5 square. We have really cemented this e5 square, which is an important square in this barrier attack line. And now again we are on the attack. Black has to react, and here black took out h takes g4. And Robert, there is this important principle on this flank attack, and when you create a flank attack, well, you should always consider an option to sacrifice your pawn. So you have to sacrifice maybe a pawn to create open lines. Here a very nice line would be h5. So if now g takes f3, you get h6. So if bishop on h8, now you get h7, knight on h7, and now queen on h6. You see now this deadly attack. What to do now for black, because you just gave up the pawn. And I really wanted to memorize this. If your opponent leaves this attack, leaves this h5 and takes here on g4 and opens the h5, you should just progress. And if he takes now with the knight, well, you can simply play now here f takes g4 again, challenging the knight, and then maybe after knight on f6, well, you have bishop on d3 and maybe queen on h2 ideas, and now the file is really open. So I'm just saying there are this pawn sacrifice could be really deadly here, but okay. Here after a takes g4, for Robert play f takes g4, which is still good. We are still on the attack. We have again possibilities to play h5. I just wanted to really point you out this importance of this pawn sacrifice. You should, when you're playing on this flank attack, just consider the option. Sometimes it's not possible, but just consider the option to sacrifice some pawns and open the h and g file. So you should maybe see for yourself all the possible lines in this pawn sacrifice. So let's see. Knight on g4. We have bishop on g7. The correct idea by Robert. Now the king has to take, and now rook on g1. Again, I'm pointing you out again this h5 move without playing this rook on g1. We want, as I said, we want to open this h file. Now black would be forced to play rook on h8 after h5. So now you can simply queenside castling, and you see now this is now a very annoying position. So we are threatening to open the h file, take out the rook, and bring the other rook on the h file. So black would be forced maybe to go knight on f6, and now we have this stunning move, queen on g5. After bishop on e6, you have h takes g6, g takes, f takes g6, and now bishop on d3. You see, this would be also a very nice line. So okay, Robert chose here this rook on g1 idea, but this h5 was always an option. Robert, I think this you have to memorize. You have to open somehow the h file. You see, a passing through is not possible by black to play maybe the move g5. You simply take with the queen. So I think this h5 is a little bit better than this rook on g1, but okay, still on the attack, still nothing lost, still a better evaluation here for white. because this barrier attack is really a healthy opening, I think. And you see, although maybe you didn't play this correct and the best lines, you're still on the attack, you still have possibilities, you still have the opportunity to play and to play for a win. So I really like this opening. So knight on f6 played by black, and now we have this h5. Finally, we have here bishop on f5, h takes g6, and now bishop takes on g6, and now bishop on d3. Of course, we're playing on this open g file with an attack on the king. So we have here rook on h8, and now queenside castle. Now this other rook will also come on into the game, and this will be really deadly attack for black. So here black decides rook from a to g8, and now bishop takes on d3, f takes g6, pardon me, f takes g6, and now queen on g5, attacking this g6 pawn, which is also good. King on f7 has to be played, and now rook on e1. Again with some attacks here and possibilities to play the rook on e7 here. Very good coordination by the pieces, although black is a pawn up, but the activity of white's pieces is really dangerous here, and you have to be careful. So now rook on h5, queen on e3 with an attack on e7, queen on d8, and now rook on f1. So we have a little bit moved our rooks now, but they're still on good files, and we are still on the attack. And we have here the possibility to play queen on e6. So here e5 was played in order to prevent it, and here d takes e5, and here black tried d4. So okay, queen on e4 by Robert, and now rook on f5. So here instead of rook on f5, maybe e takes on f6 would be a better idea. After d takes c3, you get queen on e6. So you see this Robert missed, but in his email he wrote me that he was low on time here, and he maybe couldn't get all the calculations here. So I'm really sorry, because he lost this game. He was really on a nice attack here. Queen on e6, so you have to play king on f8, and then you get f7. So rook on g7, then you get queen to e8. So this was a possibility for Robert here to immediately win the game, but instead of that he played rook takes on f5. After rook takes on f5, we have g takes on f5 and queen takes on f5, and now d takes on c3. And now Robert really blundered. Still he could have played maybe just simply taking here, queen on f6, or maybe play rook on f1. But he played e takes on f6, and his opponent all the game he had to defend himself. Now Robert really blundered, and we have here queen on d2, and here is the position in which Robert resigned, because you have to play king on b1, and then you get queen on e1, checkmate. So really sorry for Robert for losing this game. He was playing very well, I think, here, and because he has prepared. He said that he hasn't played d4 so far. He's an e4 player as white, and he prepared a little bit here for his club colleague, because he said that his club colleague is a really nice Sicilian player, and he wanted to avoid this common Sicilian line that he knows very well. And I think Robert has made a very nice preparation. And but you see with his time problems, he missed the win. And but again, I wanted to thank him for sending this very nice game. I think it's a very instructive game, because you see this barrier attack opening is very easy to remember, and you can really, well, as you see, Robert managed to crush really his club colleague, who is really much stronger and better rated. So So guys, be free to send me your games also, and if you have some questions, maybe with some rook endings or maybe with some middle game strategy, send me your questions and I'll try to make a video out of it, and of course add it into this reproduction list of this Chess Unites the World Series. And thanks again for Robert for sending us this very nice game. Meanwhile, you can watch my middle game strategy, my opening principles, and endgame strategy on my Basics on Chess series, and you can also watch my hyper accelerated Dragon Sicilian defense videos if you want to have a nice opening against e4. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks you for watching, guys, and thank you, Robert. Chess is the best, Robert.